Be honest. Are you running away from the people and the problems that need your attention? If you're like a lot of men, you might not even realize that you've been avoiding real life. Today, we are going to call out that tendency to run and learning how to finally show up. My name is Airson. I'm a relationship coach, and welcome to the video. So, when we talk about avoidance, we are talking about how that looks in real life. It's avoiding the tough conversations with your partner. It is zoning out. It is purposefully staying late somewhere or staying away to avoid a family conflict or numbing out with TV, phones, maybe a beer or a cocktail or something like that, instead of engaging and being fully present. I think it's something that every guy has an experience with, being physically present but emotionally absent. And we'll talk about a little bit about the cost that this has on your relationship and on your self-respect. So I remember for me personally, when I used to get home from work, and I used to work in finance, and you can hear me talk about this in a lot of places, but I hated it. I hated doing all of that work. But I was so exhausted when I would get home, and we had a newborn at the time, but when my wife would try and engage with me, I would disappear. Not literally, but mentally or presence wise, I would disappear. But I might as well have disappeared for real. I would mumble some excuse. I'd be glued to my phone. I would just make half-hearted noises. And in truth, I was avoiding the discomfort. I was avoiding engagement. I was afraid to engage. So I retreated into my shell. And I could see that I was hurting people when I was showing up like this because this was across the board. And the issues that were never getting addressed were just building and building because I wouldn't own it. I wouldn't face it. I think I used to think I was keeping the peace, but really I was undermining trust and I was trying to keep peace within myself and it didn't work. So why does this happen? Why do we tend to be avoidant? So there's John Bowlby was a psychiatrist in the mid 20th century, and he came up with attachment theory, which is quite popularized at the moment. So it's how we are attached to other people and how our relationship works. Some of us developed an avoidant style growing up. So perhaps our emotions were dismissed, or in our childhood, we would learn to withdraw. So we would stop putting ourselves out there because we felt that rejection. So we developed a default avoidant attachment in that. And it's not a conscious choice for many men. It's often a learned survival mechanism. And avoidant individuals, they'll appear easygoing on the surface, but they really deep down struggle with intimacy. They'll let you be around them. They might seem like really nice and friendly and stuff, but they don't let you in. That's the real difference there. There's a barrier, and it's often you're kept at a distance with humor and things like that. So while these patterns might have a root in childhood, we as adults are often responsible for changing them. But in society, it really gets reinforced that men are often taught to man up and not talk about feelings and avoid vulnerability. And that really emphasizes that avoidant attachment. It really nurtures that mindset. The conditioning runs really deep. Problem with this, you can survive on it, you can get by in it, but it leaves your relationships as shallow and it creates that inner turmoil because you know that really you are keeping people away from who you really are. There's an insight from trauma expert Gabo Mate, and he says that many behaviors that are labeled nowadays as toxic that, especially in men, toxic masculinity, easy for me to say, that actually stem from unhealed or unaddressed childhood trauma and childhood pain, and not they're not malicious. So the good news is you're not a jerk, and neither am I. There are real reasons behind our avoidant behavior, but the tough truth is that these reasons are not excuses for the behavior. You as an adult are responsible for recognizing this and trying to tackle it. So, how do we stop running? Radical awareness and one small act of presence. So, this week, I want you to notice one thing that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a difficult conversation with your partner or playing with your kids when you feel too tired. I want you to catch yourself in that avoidance. Notice that feeling or that thought when it kicks in, and then commit to doing the opposite. So show up for 5 minutes solidly. Just commit to that. So start the talk with your partner, get on the floor with your kids. And at first, it might feel uncomfortable, but do it anyway. This is my challenge for you for the week. Because if you can break that pattern, you can start noticing when it comes up. You notice and creating an awareness around when it comes up, and it's like a muscle, it'll get stronger and stronger. And over time, you can be more present. You start with 1 rep, and over the time, you won't need to run. If you are committed to showing up fully instead of running away, let me know and comment below one thing that you plan to face head on this week. I will be checking in. Please, if you like this video, subscribe and share and turn on notifications and all that stuff YouTube people say. Each week, I'm going to plan to dive deeper into mastering your presence in different areas of life. Next week, I'm going to be doing a video on facing the man you see in the mirror with radical honesty. Until then, be present, stay strong. And if you are ready to go even further on this journey, check out the link in the description and I'll send you a free resource to help you start breaking free from your avoidant behavior. See you later.